Alright, let's go. So, it's Monday. As I always say, one of my favourite days of the week. No, actually it's probably my favourite day of the week. Things are kicking off. Got a whole week ahead of me to get stuff done. It's the best day. So this week, lots of things to do. So I've got a few technical changes to make with Navexa, adding some functionality to help new people sign up and get onboarded, which is always a big focus, onboarding, because I think it should be the main focus of any product really, but with Navexa in particular it's super important because it's quite a full-on product, investment tracking, and there's so many things that can go wrong on getting your data in, because if you've done just some basic investing in the past, you're like, oh, how hard can it be? You do some buy trades and some sell trades. But advanced investors have all sorts of crazy stuff, like they have mergers. They'll own stocks that have merged twice, or they've merged and then they had a demerger, and then they had a return of capital and some crazy kind of partial cash return, and all these crazy things that can happen. And that's where the onboarding becomes so important, because if you can't get your data onboarded, you never get to use the product properly, and then that person's never going to pay for the product. So that's why onboarding is so important. And with an easier product, like I dream of a startup one day where it's like there's no integrations with anyone else. It's very easy to onboard. Think like signing up to Twitter or Instagram. It's like you provide your name and email address, and that's it. And it doesn't have to connect with anything, or you don't have to pay any data licenses, or you don't have to do anything. You just sign up, use the product. It's the dream, but that's not the case with Navexa. Lots of integrations, lots of ways to import data, lots of combinations of trades that can happen. So it's an ever evolving process. It's come a long way, but it's still got quite a few more things to go. So there'll be a bit of a focus on that. I've still got to record various videos around tax time, because we're getting into the middle of May, end of financial year's end of June. So got a little bit of time, but not a lot of time. So if we muck around now, end of June will arrive and won't be ready for end of financial year and tax time. So really got to get that done. And then let me just turn the heat on. It's freezing. Then I got to do some stuff with DLFI. So it's officially the second week of marketing this week. So I've got a few leads to follow up on. Hopefully can get a couple new businesses onto the free trial and using the product. So that'll be awesome. And then I've got a lot more people to start contacting and emailing. So I've found a few angles that are working with the emails. So now it's going to be a matter of just getting the message out there to more and more people, and then seeing what happens. And it's interesting because it's a brand new business, so I don't have a lot of data yet on what messaging works, what the billing does the billing model fit the industry well, because I'm trying to price it off a certain, like for every user you add, blah blah blah, there's a cost. But maybe in this particular industry that doesn't make sense. But what's tricky is you can't really know what makes sense or what doesn't until you've gone through the process with a bunch of customers or potential customers. And what's frustrating is that you can burn those first ones with the wrong pricing model, and then when you do figure out the right pricing model, it's like, oh well, I've already burned through a few. So getting that right is going to be key, while I have the competitive advantage of being the only product that does what I do. So it's going to be a busy week. I've got a lot to get done, so it's going to be one of those ones with, like headphones on, get stuff done. Hurry up, car. Headphones on, get stuff done. Probably work a bunch of nights just to get those extra hours of stuff sorted, but it's going to be a good one. It's going to be very good. Alright, we've made it to the gym. See you in a moment. Alright, lights, engine, let's go. Alright, finished the gym, went pretty well. Did chest, it's always a good one. Breaking through some new limits, which is awesome. Trying to break through the mental limits, really, which is always the challenge with the gym and with anything, is you can easily set a mental limitation that you're not even aware of, and then you think you've peaked out, and it's like, no, you just decided that's where you were going to peak. And your mind is a super powerful thing. If you decide that, what's that quote? It's whether you think you can or you can't, you're probably right. And it's spot on. If you think you can't do something, you're never going to do it. So at the gym, it's like, if you think you can't go beyond a certain weight, you're not going to. You're definitely not going to. But if you think you can, then you probably will. I don't think most non-professional lifters, which is what most of us are, we don't compete or anything like that. I reckon most non-professional lifters never hit their peak physical abilities. Even though I'd love to see research on this, but I reckon a high percentage of people think they've hit their peak muscle or peak strength. I would hazard a guess that it's like 80% of lifters never hit their physical peak. But I don't know, maybe I have to do that research. But anyway, back to business. So this week, last week actually, I wanted to send a bunch of emails to a lot of different businesses, and I did do some, but on the grand scheme of things I barely did any, considering in my target market for New Zealand car dealers is like, it's hard to pinpoint an exact number, but we'll call it 1,000. So there's 1,000 possible businesses to advertise to. There's probably a bit more than that actually. And I've got a list of most of them. So there's no reason I couldn't personally email every single car dealership this week if I went really hard. It's like there's 1,000. Oh, that'd be stretching it. Because even if I send 100 emails a day, it's only 500 in the week. Alright, so there's no reason why I couldn't do it in 2 weeks. 100 emails a day, 100 personalised emails a day, be quite a challenge. And I do have other things to do, but my goal, I think this week, is to do somewhere between 50 and 100 emails to new contacts. So I really need to start, because there's a bit of a lag time on these things, so you've got to get people on the phone. You got to find out if the business is a good fit. Then after that, you got to schedule a demo, and then you got to do a demo and convince people that I can help with their business, and then they got to sign up, 2-week trial. So there's a bit of a process, probably all in all maybe like a 3-week process, which I'll work on cutting down. But if I don't get the ball rolling now on new contacts, then I'll run out in a week's time. So I don't want that. And then with Navexa, like I was saying, we've got tax time coming up. So there's a lot of emails I need to send for Navexa as well, because there's a lot of potential businesses that will benefit from using the tax reporting for their clients, especially financial advisors and accountants. So plenty of stuff I can do there as well. And as I always go on about doing high leverage activities, I think that is probably one of the more high leverage ones I could do. Like I could work on, I feel like any dev feature at this point is not high leverage enough, because it's like it'll get exposed. Like if I release a new feature, it'll make like a good few hundred people happy, but those people aren't necessarily going to bring on new people, and we need new people so that we can build the features for everyone. So I think doing outreach, making contacts this week is the goal for both Navexa and Dealify. So pulling into my street, about to get home. Like I was just saying, work on high leverage activities. If you're doing a business this week or a side hustle or whatever it might be, don't waste time on unimportant stuff. Always make sure that it's moving you forward down the path rather than going on some stupid side quest. So, on that note, get after it.